Welcome back to CBS News 24/7. As President Donald Trump ramps up his conflict with the judiciary and specifically certain law firms, a prominent San Francisco law firm striking back. Now, some history here. The president signed an executive order targeting Perkin Coie, who represented Hillary Clinton during her 2016 campaign against President Trump. Jenner and Block and Wilmer Hale, who had ties to Robert Mueller's investigation into alleged Russian interference in Donald Trump's first election. Paul Weiss, a multi-billion-dollar New York firm, once employed an attorney who investigated Trump as a Manhattan prosecutor, also targeted by Trump. Now, that firm cut a deal to get that order rescinded, offering to do $40 million worth of pro bono work for Trump-touted cases. Mr. Trump's work here facing criticism by lawyers and their firms who lose security clearances, access to federal buildings, including courthouses, and losing lucrative federal contractors. Bob Van Nest is here. He is with the San Francisco law firm. Help me out here with the first.
Keker.
Yep. Keker, Nest, and Peters. Bob, your firm put out a memo that is titled Preventing Abuses of the Legal System and the Federal Court. What are these abuses that you're alleging Mr. Trump is inflicting on lawyers?
Well, Reed, this is really a wholesale assault on the rule of law and the ability and role of lawyers to uphold that. We recognized after the Perkins executive order and the memorandum 10 days ago concerning firms like ours and many others that represent asylum seekers and folks like that, that this was a campaign of intimidation attempting to discourage law firms like ours and many others from representing people who are being attacked by the government.
Yeah, your firm went on to say, an attack on lawyers who perform this work is inexcusable and despicable. Our profession owes every client zealous legal representation without fear of retribution, regardless of their political affiliation or ability to pay. Boiled to the bones, for the viewer who may not understand how all of this works with law firms, is that what you're saying, that this is going to disadvantage people who want to sue the government?
Absolutely. I mean, one of our bedrock principles, First Amendment, right to counsel, due process, these bedrock principles mean that you have a right as a citizen to fight back against the government. And the Trump administration wants to eliminate that. They're unhappy that judges and lawyers have fought back against a lot of their illegal activities and their illegal agenda, and the judges have held the line. They're not happy. They want to discourage law firms like ours and many others from representing people who are disadvantaged, people who can't pay, asylum seekers, former federal employees, and folks like that. And we just felt it was time to recognize that this is not just about Perkins Coie or Wilmer Hale or Jenner and Block. It's about everybody. It's about all of us that are bedrock and very important to upholding the rule of law. So we put out a very simple statement a week ago, 5 sentences only, just encouraging people to step up, stand up, get behind Perkins and Coie, who were in the firing line first off, and let's make our voices heard. Because again, if we sit quiet, it's not an option to just wait and see who he goes after. The more of these deals that are made, and there have been a couple of deals from the big law firms, the more encouraged.
In exchange for pro bono work?
Yeah, in exchange for pro bono work. Who knows what benefit they're really going to get out of these doing business with the Trump administration, but they do probably embolden Trump to go forward and roll up everybody else. So our message was simple. We need to stand together. Everybody needs to stand up. Everybody needs to be counted. It's not just about a few law firms. It's about everybody. And if we don't start speaking out now, it's going to be too late.
What do you say to the average viewer, those who says, well, these law firms represented big names. This doesn't apply to me, John Q. Public, who is at the grocery store. What do you say to that person?
I think most Americans understand that anytime they're under attack from the government, or they're unhappy with some government action, or there's some threat to their livelihood, or their Social Security or their Medicare, it's important to have access to lawyers to fight back. That's the way we do it in this country, right? We're not fighting in the street, we're fighting in the courtrooms, and we're fighting in front of judges who are going to rule and uphold the rule of law. So folks need lawyers, people need lawyers. Folks all the time have grievances, are charged with crimes, are threatened with takeaway of their basic rights or their Social Security, Medicare, and so on. They need people to defend them, and that's what lawyers in this country have been doing. Not just at the big firms. Thousands and thousands of lawyers across the country provide pro bono services to people who can't pay. We're not just representing large corporations, et cetera. We're representing individuals day in, day out. Our firm, Perkins Coie, Wilmer Hale, we're representing asylum seekers, we're representing former federal employees, we're representing people who have rights that are being trampled on by the Trump administration, and he and his allies want to stop that. And our message is simple. Let's not sit around and wait for it to happen. Stand up, make our voices heard, and get out there. And so after our 5-sentence statement last weekend, the New York Times asked us to write an op-ed piece, which we did, and it was published yesterday. And we just heard from hundreds and hundreds of lawyers around the country, large firms, small firms, individuals. It's been a great, great reaction to our call to stand up.
And the conflict continues, and so does the conversation. Bob Van Ness, thank you so much.
Thank you, Reed.